We are returning. We're back. We're live, pal. And Bill, you're in charge of this week. Because you had to make a quick audible. So what did you pick? Because Wally's not here.
Wally ruined everything, per usual.
Again, as always.
So I had to find us something quick to do. So we started with something we had talked about years ago when it first came out, but it was Nothing to Report. It was a Chris Jericho and Nick Mundy web series, 6 episodes, and then it aired on Comedy Central in April of 2015. Apparently, they either were going to make a movie. IMDb has a rating for it, so maybe they did and nobody has seen it.
I don't remember seeing it,
but it's a web series with 6 short episodes. It's just Chris Jericho plays Chance Blackstreet, and his partner is Nick Mundy, who plays Moses Packard, and they are 2 cops on various stakeouts generally.
Yeah.
Just watching and waiting for the action.
Yeah, bullshitting.
Bored cops making funny conversation, basically.
Yeah, and so there's 6 of them. Just most of the episodes are the 2 of them sitting in a car or getting out of the car to interact with something. But
yeah.
So we start with episode 1, which is simply titled "Moses is Fat." We start and we meet, and so they always have little clips sometimes They always have clips sometimes as like a lead-in. They
like
have a little clip.
Cold open kind of thing.
And in this case, Nick Mundy puts in like a motivational tape, which then Jericho, Chance Blackstreet, replaces with one he made for himself. It says like, "You are the best. Your ex-wife is a B word. You're the best."
It's a long-running gag through the whole thing. Is Jericho's divorced, and he's like obsessed with his wife Teresa, and that just keeps coming up.
So we start this one with Chance Blackstreet running down a meth head in the street. He's like, "Come on, Moses, come on." And so Moses is like, yeah, I'll be right there. I'll catch up. But instead, he essentially collapses, chugs a soda, and then fires his gun to attract Chance.
I need help. I like how he collapses and then chugs the soda.
Which he's got the Dan Hep soda in his back pocket.
Yep.
Oh, man.
So they come back to the car, and Chance is yelling at him and saying, like, you didn't help me. I did all this awesome stuff. I was jumping off of roofs and going through windows, and you weren't there at all. And he's like, "You need to lose weight. I'm just going to say it. You're fat. You have to lose weight." So obviously Moses doesn't like this, and he gets sad, and he's saying, like, "You're not being very supportive." Meanwhile, they've got the meth head in the back just behind them, kind of joining the conversation.
Yeah.
And he argues about like how he's not, "You're not supportive of me." And the meth head at one point is talking about how he's on Moses' side, but he's on Chance's level. We get this quote where he talks about how he can still get the job done, and the drug addict is like, "You literally just didn't get the job done because you were fat."
The method played by the terrific Brendan Small, who is very good.
He was awesome in this.
Yeah. And he talks about, well, he was on drugs so he could run faster, and Brendan Small is like, "That is not how it works. I'm on drugs all the time. That's not how it works."
I'm not faster.
So they end up arguing, and they release him so that Moses can then go try to show that he can do it, that he can run him down. So he starts running. Jericho points a gun at him and says, like, "Run, go." And so he starts running, gets about 20 feet, and then just starts throwing up. And you see Chance get back in the car to start driving after the guy. So it's just a quick, like, 5-minute clip, but it's very funny. And it also sets the tone for the rest of the season, if you will.
But yeah, Nick Mundy is very funny. I first saw him on the Screen Junkies channel on YouTube. He did these really funny things. They would send him to interview The Rock,
Oh, that was the guy.
That's him?
Yeah, so like he would be like trying to like butter up the Rock, and the Rock would basically be the Rock and make fun of him. And he did it like 10 times. He did it so many times. And then when Nick Bundy actually in real life got married for a shoot, the guys at Screen Junkies convinced the Rock to show up and interrupt the wedding, the real life wedding. The Rock was there. Incredible. But yeah, so he's got a lot of wrestling connections. He had a show on Screen Junkies for a while, and I don't know if he still does or not, but him and his buddies had a podcast that was on the Jericho podcast network.
That's right. That's right.
And it was like kind of like a movie podcast where they make fun of old movies or something. And I haven't heard Jericho talk about it in a long time, but he used to be on there. And they had a whole interview together where they talked about this. So, and what they wanted to do with it.
I looked like Mundy was one of the writers and producers, and Jericho was just kind of in it with him. But
this is another like thing that the tidbit or whatever that I heard about this thing is that this is the way Comedy Central would do their pilots during this time.
Right, that makes sense.
So they would give you a web series, and if your web series was funny and did okay, they would make it a show. So that was the goal, apparently.
Right.
So our second episode is called Captain Ed. And we come in with Chance on the radio arguing about the merits of Van Halen versus Van Hagar. And he mentions, of course, during his argument, he talks about his ex. And this is the first time we hear it directly.
Yeah.
He mentions Teresa, and all the guys are making fun of him. And at one point, he just starts screaming. He's like, "Have you not listened to the poetry, the genius of Sammy Hagar's lyric?"
What is the one he references? Is it Right Here, Right Now? Is that the one where he's like, when you're right here, you're right now. Don't you get it? It's like a horrible song.
And then Moses is like, "Yeah, but you did talk about Teresa." So they're in the car talking about Teresa and Sammy Hagar when someone, we find out Captain Ed is his name, starts just humping the car. Because I'm going to have sex with this car. So it's humping it.
Captain Ed is... He's a dude from Conan.
Yeah.
He was on Conan all the time as like the weird characters.
Yeah, he was a writer for Conan. Shit, I forget his name.
He was... I forget which characters he was, but he was a bunch of different weirdo, like those weirdo characters that would pop out on the old Conan.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. So they keep arguing until he then pees on the car.
Yeah.
At this point, Chance is like, "Well, I'm going to arrest him now." But Moses wants to let him go because he's a children's star. He's an educator, and his kids love him. So he's like, "Hey, he's just having a bad night." And then so they get out and they're like talking to him, and he first propositions Chance to have an underwear party, and then later gets down on his knees and he's like, "Where is that?" And he goes to Moses and he's like, "Where is it? I want to make you feel like a special boy." And like pulls his pants down.
Oh
no. So they're arguing about what to do with him, and then he turns Captain Ed and he pukes on Chance's shoes, and he just starts complaining about how celebrities get away with everything. They don't get in trouble. They can do anything they want. They can sleep with his wife like a weatherman, and of course makes it very personal about him and his wife again.
Yep.
And he's like he's just having a bad night. Like, you got to let him go. And he talks about how his kids look up to this guy more than they look up to him. And then all of a sudden, Captain Ed is his actual name. He's the captain of the boat, and he's changed his name to Education.
Yes, Captain Ed.
Education.
He is official captain.
So they decide, when he pulls out a gun and starts shooting, they decide they have to take him in now. But first, they're going to take a selfie. And then Jericho drops, "It's actually called in Aussie now, if there's more than one person." Um,
2015.
so
Or
they
whatever
start
this came out. Simpler times.
simpler times indeed. We'll get there later. Um, so they start posing with him, taking various
Aussies.
fantasies until all of a sudden he's laying on the hood of the car and he starts gurgling and basically dies.
He
Yeah.
dies.
Um,
And they just leave him there.
It's like, get in the car. I have an idea. And they get in the car. They slowly back up so he falls off the hood. And then they just park on the other side of the road.
Great.
Presumably to call it in, but maybe just let him.
Maybe
let him
not.
leave.
Maybe just let him die. Wow.
Yeah. So episode 3 is called Emotional Scars. And it starts with Jericho on the phone with someone, presumably a lady. And he's trying to, like, talk sexy to her. And Nick Mundy's giving him the, like, wrap it up sign. He's
Mhm.
like, hey, my partner's giving me the wrap it up sign, so I guess I just blow it on your face. So then we get Nick Mundy just sighing and wheezing, just making weird noises. And Jericho and Chance is like, I can't listen to you wheeze all night. He's like, I'm not wheezing, I'm sighing. I've got real problems, you know. So then Chance cuts him off and complains about how basically a girl is ghosting him, but he thinks like she's disappeared and it's a mystery he has to solve.
Right.
Like, as a detective, you should be able to do this easy. She got off the ferry, got on a different one, and left. It's like, he's like, have you done anything to actually stop it? He's like, well, I texted her, and she didn't answer me.
She's a missing person. She didn't just try to leave the date.
Yeah. So then Moses is like, well, I have actual real problems with my life. And he says, my kids call me Officer Packard. They don't call me Dad. They don't even call me Moses. They call me Officer Packard.
I like that he does, like, Mundy puts in like these weird little things about his like home life with his wife and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was the one where it's another episode. His role playing with his wife.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And he talks about how his kids actually said, like, if you get shot, I can stop lying to my teachers about what you do for a living or something like that.
Yeah, you would actually be a real cop if you actually got shot.
So they start arguing about who's got it worse, who's got a tougher life, and they get out of the car so they can show each other their actual physical scars from their tough lives. And it starts with Moses. Oh, wait a minute. Before that, Moses says how he gets weird boners all the time, like at funerals.
He's sexually illiterate.
Yes.
And
then Chance says he only does exactly what he's told during sex. He won't do anything unless he's told to do it. So
I'm sexually illiterate. I have funeral boners.
Yes, the funeral boner.
They get out and it ramps up real quick. Moses shows him all these scars from his dad putting out cigarettes on him. Then he
like recently. Yeah.
Like, this is a cigar. It's from last year. He's like, I got a good deal on the stereo system. So he put a cigar out on me to like maintain dominance. And then we find out that Chance dropped out of high school and ended up having to cut himself just to make sure he was alive. And then Moses says, you want to see a real scar? He says, I donated my kidney to my college girlfriend. And after surgery, she left me because I was not a whole man.
I was no longer a whole man. She dumped me. Wow.
Chance says his mother never touched him. Moses has money he's hidden at a bus station for not if, but when his wife and kids leave him.
Yes.
When.
And at this point, they're basically standing in their underwear. And they both start crying and like hugging each other. And all of a sudden they hear a call come over the radio about two half-naked guys yelling about meth. And they realize the address given is where they are. They have to like get back on the radio, like, oh, this is car 66 or whatever. We got this. Like, situation's handled. We're good. And Nick Winnie's like, well, not all the way. And he's got a sexually illiterate boner.
Oh, come on, man. Sexually illiterate.
We moved there to an episode simply called Racism, which is one of at least 2 episodes that they could not make now,
No.
Yeah.
but it was
No.
funny. So we start with the both of them sitting in the car, kind of nodding off, and Moses falls asleep and hits his face on the steering wheel. And Jericho like wakes up and writes it down. And he's like, "No, you want to do it by the book. I'm writing down that you fell asleep at 1:14 a.m." And they look out the window and they see a black dude creeping around a house. So Chance wants to get out and stop him, but Moses is like, "Ooh, well, that's because you don't. There's certain people you don't like," and basically calls him racist. He's like, "You want to
Yeah.
stop him just because he's black?" And he's like, "No." And they argue. He's like, "I want to stop him because of these weird behaviors." So they go back and forth about that. And he's like, "No, it's his actions." And then you hear him break a window, and he wants to get out, but Moses is still like, "No. He might just be drunk and locked out of his home." And he's like, "Do you really want to be the one to like yell at someone for getting drunk and breaking into a home?" And Chance is like, "I broke into Teresa's house to show her that I was no longer interested." Then we see the guy pull out a big gun and go into the house, but still Nick is like, "No, he's just. Do you want to be the cop that arrests a black man for defending his home?" And then we hear yelling inside,
Yeah.
and he's
You
like,
know,
"No,
like a woman scream.
this could just be kinky sex." And he starts talking about like all the weird stuff he used to do with his wife before they had kids. Like I would surprise her at work and all this stuff.
He's like, he's getting excited about it too. Like,
Yeah. But then we hear shots fired in the house, and they realize like, okay, now we need to actually react. So they go and he comes out of the house and they tackle him, and they start yelling at him, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And his wife comes out in like a
Yeah.
robe. And
what
then
are you
he's like,
doing?
"You just have pretty adventurous sex, and you're ruining it."
It's just a weird sex thing. Mundy was right the whole time.
Yep. And he even says like he's a record producer or something. He's like, "Ooh, I called that," because 2 black neighborhood watch guys come and tackle him.
Yeah.
Chance is like, "Get off, you idiots! I'm a cop." And they're like, "I don't know. You don't look like a cop to me. You just look like 2 white guys with guns." But yeah, I feel like that was a good episode, but they could not even attempt that.
Nah, it'd be very touchy today.
No, yeah, it's borderline.
Episode 5 is called Partners.
This is great.
And we meet Hawk, who we've heard on the radio, and Broadway.
Yeah.
And they mess with them when they come to relieve them because they're like falling asleep again. And they like make fun of them for being like the night cops and just are kind of rude. Hawk is the jerk, especially to Jericho, because they're essentially the same person.
Right.
And then
yeah.
Broadway is like, "Sorry, I just got to do it because partners." But we find out that Broadway and Moses are friends, and they're doing like a couples thing over the weekend, which makes Chance very upset because he's not invited. And Moses is like,
Right.
"Well, it's because you make my wife very uncomfortable." So he's pissed about that. The next day we go and we see that Hawk locks him in the car, and they start putting the radio on, and they can only get it on one channel that is playing some kind of Latin music. He's like, "I can't listen to this. It reminds me of Teresa." And he Goldberg punches his way out of the car.
He has to punch the window because he's so freaked out by the music. This is the first one that takes place over like multiple days.
Yeah, that's true.
Because we go to the next day and they go to get in the car and they see that they've now put Moses' wife on hooker flyers, and they like tapered the car with them. I was like, "Yeah, if you get downtown," it's like, "We don't really get this downtown anymore."
Jericho explains how to get a hooker, but Jericho's more pissed off than Nick Mundy is. He's like, "It's not that big of a deal. It's just a harmless prank." And Jericho's like, "We gotta fucking kill him."
It's like, I was at the shooting range, and what if my aim wasn't so good that day, and I hit Hawk right in the face or something like that. So he's like, "We got to retaliate." even though, as you said, Moses does not want to. So we now see Hawk and Broadway, and they're like, when they go to answer the radio, it's going to shock them. So he like calls them on the radio, and they don't answer at first. And then we see inside the car, and it's just like dummies with face taped to the front of it. But all of a sudden, the dummies start on fire. And Broadway's like, "Oh my God, they're not even trying to get out. They're not moving." And so they're just like, Hawk thinks now he has murdered them. He has accidentally shorted it out, and it started on fire. So Broadway turns and he's like, "I'm going to turn you in. I put up with this for too long. I'm going to tell on you for everything. I'm going to tell them about the cars, about the women, about the men." And then Chance comes up and starts screaming at him, saying like, "I got you," and he's real happy. And then there's like a weird look between Moses and Broadway, and Moses is like, "Sorry, it's partner stuff."
Broadway is legitimately pissed. Like, I thought you were dead. Sorry.
Yeah. And then we get Chance basically begging Moses to like come to whatever it is that he's planning with Broadway. To
Yeah,
their
he
party.
wants to go to
And
the couples
as they walk
party.
up the street, we hear, "Last time you came over, you slapped my child." And Jericho just goes, "Yeah, slapped him with a good time."
Oh man.
It is sad they didn't do more because it is just quick, short form, like one-offs that don't.
It could have been, yeah, it could have
Yeah.
been something. I think it could have been something.
It most definitely could have been.
It's just like Jericho. It's basically if you took Jericho in MacGruber and gave him a show. That's
Right,
basically
yeah.
what this is.
A spinoff, yeah.
Because it's that kind of humor that I love dick jokes. I love to tell them.
Yes.
I love to listen to them.
Love to listen to that.
So the last episode is called Shootout. And we start with like Nick Mundy sitting outside the house with the gun pointed, just listening to carnage on the inside. And we see Chance come storming out of the drug house, and he's very triumphant. He's posing with his gun like an action scene from an 80s movie. And they start cracking wise about all the guys he just had to murder. And then one bad guy comes out, and Moses has to kill him. And then another bad guy comes out, and Moses starts yelling at him for being sloppy. He's like, "You can't kill any of these." And then as he's yelling at him, a third guy comes out, and he has to shoot him too. He's like, "You're too dumb to kill all the bad guys. Look at all the bad guys you're making me kill." So then they start arguing, and he's like, "I just always have to clean up your messes. I want in on the action. You never invite me to come in and raid the house with you. You know, my kid doesn't think I'm a real cop. One of these times, I just want to be the one on the inside." All the meanwhile, he kills like 8 guys. They just
he just keeps killing them.
He also seems to have a limitless clip in his gun because he fires like 30 bullets. So he's like, "All right, next time you'll be the one that goes in." And he like hugs him, and he's starting to like build him back up. And another guy creeps out of the house, but only Jericho sees him, and he like essentially waves him away.
Yeah, like,
so that Moses doesn't see him.
Get out of here. But then like 10 more guys come out.
Yeah, he just keeps
a
going.
bunch more dudes.
You're just gonna go. You're just gonna go, Moses. Just run away. Just keep running with it. He keeps motioning for the guys to leave. And there's like 10 more dudes that come out of the house. And then they're hugging it out at the end, and Moses like gives him a peck on the cheek, and he goes, "Okay, no more kisses, just hugs. Actually, no more hugs. You're kind of sweaty."
Fantastic.
Yeah, just a quick thing here, but it was fun.
Yeah.
I actually did look for the movie for a while, but I don't know that it even exists. Except IMDb does have ratings for
Really?
Nothing to Report movie.
Weird.
Yeah.
Jericho also has another web series called "But I'm Chris Jericho."
Right. Yeah.
Where
but I didn't know what that was, but I saw that was a thing.
And it was more picked up, I guess, by Canadian television, apparently.
Oh, really?
Yeah, where he's a struggling wrestler now that isn't a wrestler anymore. Is trying to be an actor and goes to auditions and weird shit happens to him.
Oh, had I
That's-
realized it, I might have done that instead.
Well, you
Well,
can
not
add it to
instead.
your potential. I think it's all on YouTube, but
Right. Yeah.
yeah,
But knowing that was short, I had been sitting on a clip for a while, so I decided to have us watch an episode of the dating game as well.
Right.
Oh, man, WCW did everything, did they? They like just put their dudes out there like crazy. Like
Apparently,
they did
Yeah.
like I feel like a bunch of this shit.
yeah. So this was 1998. It was the fourth iteration of the dating game.
Chuck Woolery is still there though.
It was not the original because the original was in like the 60s or something. But yeah, Chuck
But-
Woolery's there. He clearly has no idea about wrestling.
No.
He's just reading people.
Jericho Hall.
Jericho Alex? Yeah. But he says, so he's like, yeah, this is WCW. Like, let's meet the bachelors. Like, he jumps right into it. And he says, bachelor number one, the cruiserweight champion. And Billy Kidman is sitting there in his, like, he's not scratching like he should be if he wanted to go full kayfabe. He's just in his wife beater. And he apparently, like, practiced sleight of hand magic when he is.
and mini golf.
Mini golf. I feel like all of this shit was absolutely made up.
I was gonna say some of the responses are definitely written by writers. Where
And just like the girl's love of wrestling.
yeah,
I'm
not
sure.
true.
Even though truthfully she looked like
She looked like she
a
could have been
yeah.
someone who loved wrestling, but
yes.
Yeah. So we go to bachelor number two. This is Disco Inferno, who Chuck Woolery says
oh my
faked
god,
his basic booty.
Basic booty.
basic booty.
The only man sitting there without a belt. Bachelor number three is, of course, Chris Jericho. I believe he had the TV title at this point.
Yeah, he was
so
full
cool.
on Jericho-holic.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, as you had said, he has no clue. He calls him, if you're a fan of his, you are a Jericho-holic. But he does call him an expert hockey player.
Yes. Because his
Yes.
dad.
Expert.
Then we get an introduction of the lucky language, the lucky lady, who we find out collects mermaids, whatever that means.
Collects
she-
mermaids.
They grab, which is like a Charlie Kelly thing.
Yes.
What is your hobbies? Magnets. What are your interests? Ghouls.
Oh man.
She's a grad student in both Russian literature and history.
No way.
No way.
That's-
That's real. No way. That's
No.
real.
And then she, of course, loves wrestling. So Erin Kavanaugh is her name, and she has to be fake. She, as you said, she seems fully like a plant or like someone they just threw on TV here. Although maybe she could be a fan of wrestling. I doubt it. Because, I mean, Chris Jericho says his name at one point.
He says all kinds of shit about wrestling. He says lion tamer and
Yeah.
all of his catchphrases, and she has no idea.
No.
Maybe she just didn't watch WCW.
Yeah. Hey,
So then
FMW fan.
she says yeah. She loves wrestling because she loves her big, strong men.
Oh.
And then they
She wants to
all
be
introduce
carried.
themselves, and Jericho just goes full scream, just like full promo cutting mode.
Mm-hmm.
So we start with the hot round of questions, which I thought there was more to it than this. It is not.
No, there's
She just
not.
asked a series of questions. So she
Just
starts
a
with
series
Disco,
of dumb questions.
yeah, Disco Inferno. She has a fear of starvation.
What is
I
that?
don't
That's-
know
What?
because she's poor and doesn't eat food, or what that means.
Wow.
But what scares you? And he just goes soft and says, "I'm afraid of getting my heart broken." And
Yeah, what was
Mom.
up with Disco? Wasn't funny at all.
No,
was not.
Disco,
It was just
Disco's
being a-
not funny.
You know,
think
fucking
that's it.
weirdo.
Yeah.
He was
essentially.
actually trying to win this date. Disco was the only one in there. Like, I'm gonna win. I'm going for it.
So same question to Billy Kidman, and he goes, "I'm afraid of my neighbor here," talking about Disco Inferno's outfit and bad breath. This
Ooh.
is where I wonder if that's him or, like you said, if these are all written for him. Question 3, finally we go to Jericho. As the mayor of Tiny Town, Dedicate a day to me.
Why?
Why? Why this?
I don't know why this, but he does as well as you can possibly do with this. And he does this high pitched voice and like talks about how he would treat her so well, and then also like offers a threat in his real voice because he's being manly. And then of course we want the same question asked to Billy Kidman, who gives like a decent response, but it's like so dumb.
It is.
He says, like, you can spend the day with me. You don't have to work. Great. What a
then,
prize, Billy Kidman.
Yeah.
What a prize.
For question 5, we go to Disco, and she's like, "Is there anything that you fake?" And obviously, the answer here is everything about Disco.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything.
But then he goes ahead and just straight up breaks kayfabe, and he's like, in the ring, I pretend to be like an obnoxious guy that everyone wants to boo. Really, I'm a nice guy." And it's like, come on, what are you
Shut
doing
up.
here, man?
You,
What's his name?
I want to boo you even more, Disco. You fucking
Yeah.
loser.
Yeah. So she asked Jericho the same question, and he gives a much better response where he says, like, "I don't fake anything, including something nice about you." I don't know. But he's way better than Disco at this point, clearly. Then we go back to Billy Kidman, and she says, "You're a zombie, and you've just taken a bite out of Jericho,
So dumb.
and you spit it out. Why did you spit it out?" And he's like, "Oh, it's because I don't like Canadian ham," which is
Ooh.
good considering.
It's written by a writer, but yeah.
Oh, very clearly, yeah. Then we go the same question to Jericho, back to him. And in another well-written thing, he says, "Because I'm lactose intolerant, and he is far too cheesy."
Oh.
Zing.
Bazinga.
Bazingo.
I mean, final question, Disco Inferno. Bring us home. Something about like, why are you Mr. Wiener, or why would you be good mascot, Mr. Wiener?
Yeah. What was?
And he's just like, "Oh, you like Italian sausage? I'm your man." Oh my God, you can't even deliver the solid Disco.
So dumb.
I mean, this whole thing was awful, but Disco is hard to watch even in this.
Sucked.
Yeah, because Disco sucks.
Disco
So
sucks.
Chuck's like, "All right, we're gonna go to a commercial break now," and it's the longest cutaway scene ever. It's like a hard 30 seconds of them just like small talking each other. We come back, and I thought there was like a round 2, like they're gonna cut Disco and keep going, but nope, that's it.
Nope.
He says, "Choose your bachelor," and of course she picks Jericho because he wants to be her hero, which I don't think he ever said,
No,
but that's a reason.
that is a reason.
Kidman and Disco walk by, and she's like, "Ooh, I like all of them." And then we find out, what are the chances that these two actually won a trip to Hawaii?
0.
0, right?
0.
What are the chances that these two had sex before they left the studio?
Maybe.
Maybe. I feel like no. I feel like Jericho maybe. Like, how old are his kids?
I think Jericho was married pretty early on.
Yeah.
Is he married now?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that.
Yeah. So I thought this was going to be gold, and it was just mostly awkward.
It was
Mostly weird. Yeah.
Mostly weird, awkward shit.
There's some other stuff that I've looked up. I haven't put together all of it, but you're right. They all do, not just WCW, but especially WCW will put dudes anywhere.
Yeah. They just
probably a lot of TBS game shows.
Yeah. That's essentially what it was.
Or like affiliated channels, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know where this one aired, but it's free on YouTube. That's how you know it's good.
Oh,
You
that's
go
how you
find
know,
that.
man.
The name of the podcast that Nick Mundy did doesn't look like it's still going. Team Tiger Awesome was the name of it. I can't find any information on that or him. It's weird. He's disappeared.
Fallen off the face of the earth.
Tiger Awesome, but yeah, I didn't know how it connected.
I don't see him anywhere. He deleted his Twitter, so I don't know what. what that's
man.
about. That might not be either the smartest thing ever or not good. I don't know.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
one or the other, but that was the name of that stuff. So, all right. There you go.
There you go.
That's a
There
wrap.
you go.
Another fun concoction that you cooked up there for us, Bill.
Yeah, and it was all because Wally screwed up. I couldn't even do a real thing. I knew I had to go short this weekend because I wasn't going to have a lot of time. So
Yeah, by the
Classic
time
Wally
we
screw up.
classic Wally screw up, which is why we screwed up his backlash in the last episode. He's gonna get so pissed off when he finds out.
he's
Good.
not even going to remember. He's not going to have a clue.
You mean he's not gonna have a clue? Eventually, he's gonna remember.
Yeah. Hey, Wally, go do your show.
Hey, Wally, because he's gonna forget again. Oh boy. Well, if he shows up next week, we're gonna do Demolition Man.
Yeah.
Doesn't show up, we'll have to come up with another plan. Gotta love it. We'll figure it out. It'll be fun.
What was Demolition Man is available to watch easily?
It was on Hulu.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's on Hulu. It's on
I
Hulu, I
thought it was
believe.
Encino Man. I for sure thought we were watching Pauly Shore, and I got a little bit excited about that.
Oh, yeah. I saw a lot of Pauly Shore talk. I completely forgot he's not in that. He's not in
No.
Demolition Man.
No, Encino Man?
That's what I thought we were watching was Encino Man with.
Oh,
Brendan
okay.
Fraser.
I don't think I've
So
seen
I think
either
we
one of
could do
these.
the
I
same-
can't remember anything about Demolition Man.
I've never seen Demolition Man.
Who's even in Demolition Man?
Demolition Man is Sly Stallone and Wesley Snipes.
Who's the wrestling
This is a
connection,
real
though?
action movie.
Jesse Ventura's in it.
Oh, right. Jesse Ventura.
He's in
Yep.
another movie that I just recently discovered, but I don't want to watch it because it looks terrible.
What movie?
I'm not going to tell you because then you're going to think.
I think I
Oh.
know. I think I actually know. And I may be choosing it.
That's why. I don't
Oh,
want to say it,
no.
because I will choose it.
Wow. Wow. Oh, Sandra Bullock. Look at that.
Oh,
Oh,
Young
yeah.
Sandra?
This
Yeah,
movie,
Demolition Man.
this movie's so good.
You already watched it, and we're
Yes.
so excited to do it.
Yep.
It's
Loved
not
it.
that good.
Loved it.
Is
It's
it better than They Live?
oh no.
Then it's a terrible movie.
It's so goofy and dumb.
Okay, now that I'm looking at it, this is like one of those movies I used to see on the shelf at the rent-a-movie place
Yeah.
around the corner from me when I was a kid. Must have
Can't
been
believe you never saw it. Did you see? Did we watch Judge Dredd with Sly Stallone? No, we didn't.
We watched it.
No,
not for
we
the show.
watched-
We watched it years ago.
We watched the new Judge Dredd.
Yeah, that bad
Yeah.
one with Carl
Yeah.
Urban.
That's not bad.
I didn't like it.
I thought we liked it.
I didn't like it.
I like the
Basically a
other.
rip off of the Raid, right?
Right.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like the Raid.
That's why we watched it. Yeah, okay. I remember this movie from the VHS cover, but I don't think I ever saw it. So it should be interesting. Not enough Sly Stallone movies. We're gonna go through every Sly Stallone movie there is.
I've been sitting on Expendables, but it just is like 3 hours long.
No, Expendables. Weird. All right, that's it. This one's done. Coming back, hopefully with Demolition Man.
We'll see.
And it does not.
Oh, and there is something. Once you hear, you'll hear something. And you're like, oh my God, this is where they got this from in wrestling. Kind of like in
kind of like Mad
how
Max.
Jericho and Mad Max obviously got Ayatollah of Rock and Rolla from Mad Max 2. You're gonna be like, oh, this is where they got that. And it's so good. There's this one through line of a joke, kind of a joke in it that is so funny that I was laughing in my car thinking about it the other day.
Like
This
an
is-
actual funny joke, or
I think it's not like a joke like an Arrested Development joke. It's just like something they bring up and you're just like, wait a second, when you think about it. It's just like
they're trying to be funny though.
like that 90s like kind of funny.
Okay.
So this is
90s
gonna be
like
a terrible
action
movie.
movie kind of way. What's that?
This is going to be a terrible movie.
You're gonna hate it, Bill, but it's
Yeah,
great. But
I
it's
am
great.
gonna hit it.
You hate bad movies that are good.
Dennis Leary's in it.
But see, what you just said doesn't make sense, Ryan. It can't be a bad movie that is good. If it's a
Yo,
bad
there's
movie, it
plenty
is a
movies.
bad movie.
There's so many movies that are bad that are so much fun. Con Air is that.
Con Air is so good.
Con
Kind
Air
of
is
just
great.
not that bad a movie.
Wow.
It's not a
Wow.
great movie, but it's not a bad movie.
Yeah.
I can watch it. It's very watchable.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now we're done. This is
Yep.
over. Peace out.
The